It would be impossible to estimate how many people have gone for a swim in the ocean in Maine this summer. We do know that as you go from west to east along the coast, the number of swimmers declines dramatically.
Yes, there are a lot more people in the ocean in Ogunquit and Old Orchard Beach than in Bar Harbor and Eastport. So it caught our attention when two young women told us about a goal they had set that called for them to spend a lot of time in the water in a part of Maine where that rarely happens. There's not much that humans can create which would begin to compare with the natural beauty of Isle of Haut. But there is one structure that is particularly dear to the island's 60 year-round residents and its modest number of summer visitors. Its lighthouse, which now needs repairs and restoration.
We have craftsmen on the island that have volunteered their time to build a brand new mahogany exterior door for the lighthouse.
We need to replace all this wood blocking with brick.
Allison Richardson, who works as a ranger at Acadia National Park on the island, and Molly Siegel, who's an Island Institute fellow on the island, decided they wanted to help. That kind of restoration work isn't cheap under any circumstances, particularly expensive when you got to get out to an island, get the repair people and the materials and so forth. So what kind of a restoration tab are you looking at?
The grand total is around $500,000, and we have some of that already, so we're shooting for around, I believe, $300,000.
So you and Molly came up with an idea to do something to help. What was the spark? What was the genesis of the idea?
Well, I mean, I've always been interested in ocean swimming. I've never done it before, but I thought, hey, I'll give it a try.
She bought a wetsuit and swam a couple of 100 feet across a small cove on Isle of Haut.
And I thought, oh, wow, I got this big boost of energy, I guess. And then Molly came swimming with me one day, and as we were swimming across, I was like, we should swim around the island. Like, no one's ever done this before, and if we're gonna do it, we should do it for a good cause.
And just like that, they had their mission. They would swim all the way around Isle of Haut, about 18 miles in all.
Where are we going today? Today we are gonna go from Point Lookout around Birch Point, and we're hoping to get to Old Cove. Yes. Through the Burnt Island Thoroughfare.
As far as they know, no one has ever swum around the island. They decided to do it in legs of a mile or two at a time, with the goal of raising $1,000 for the restoration of the lighthouse for each mile they swam. $18,000 in all. People should understand that part of the reason this is unusual is that people just don't swim on Isle of Haut because the water's too cold, right?
Yeah, obviously wetsuits are essential. There are a few other people on the island that swim in the ocean. And so they were able to give us some advice about, the right places to swim and the ideal temperatures and maybe some of the equipment. But yeah, it's pretty unusual.
Volunteers paddle alongside in kayaks just to make sure nothing happens to Molly and Allison, and occasionally to offer a little British documentary-style narration.
And here we have the ladies swimming, not in their natural habitat. Look at them adapt.
It's all very relaxed.
We're making it, but we're not like speed swimmers or anything.
So the U.S. Olympic swim team has nothing to fear from you two.
No.
Among the challenges they've encountered, choppy water, currents running against them, and insects.
It's so buggy. Can't be sure you can see how buggy it is, but it's also sunrise.
When the beauty of their surroundings isn't enough to keep their minds off their exertions, Allison and Molly tell lighthouse jokes.
How do lighthouse keepers communicate?
I don't know. How do lighthouse keepers communicate?
Shine language.
I bet it slays them when you're 200 yards offshore.
It's hilarious.
What really motivates them, of course, is the desire to give something back to the island.
Thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far. We are on track to making our goal to save the Isle of Haut Lighthouse. So thank you. You're awesome.
There aren't many people on the island, so I'm sure that all the residents and the summer folks as well know what you two are up to. What have they said about what you're doing?
They're all so supportive. So many people have volunteered to kayak for us. People have even expressed interest in wanting to swim with us. A few people have come out on their porches when we swim by and they're like waving to us, and we try to have conversations with them as we're swimming by, and so it's been really great.
Okay, here we are at the tower and we're about to get in the water.
Molly and Allison started this round the island swim in July at the base of the lighthouse. And that is where it will soon come to an end. When you finish that last leg and return to the lighthouse, climb back up onto dry land, what do you think is going to be going through your head?
I think we'll just be thinking, that was a lot of fun, and what's next?
So, how are Allison Richardson and Molly Siegel doing? They have completed 11 miles of their swim, including a recent leg through rough surf that a friend of theirs called the washing machine. As for the financial angle, they've raised $7,000, so they're almost halfway to their goal of $18,000, and of course, looking for more donations.
Of course, as they should. They hope to complete their swim by the end of the month. You can find more information about the Haut lighthouse and the effort to restore it on our News Center Maine website and mobile app.
And one last quick postscript to this story. It was really hot on the dock in Stonington that day, about as hot as it ever gets in that part of Penobscot Bay. So Molly and Allison decided to emulate Jimmy Cook, a UPS driver who a week or so before had jumped off the dock into the ocean in the middle of his workday. So that's what they did, with the help of the crew from the Haut ferry, which used the cargo winch to help them achieve maximum launch. They left their phones and wallets behind, but otherwise it was into the water, and the temperature of the water probably in roughly the low to mid 50s. You realize you missed an opportunity. You should have been saying to the tourists here on the dock, hey, if you give us $5 for the lighthouse restoration, we'll jump off into the water.
I know, we missed our chance.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
It was a little colder without the wetsuits.
Yeah,
but
definitely
it
a
feels
little
good.
colder, yeah. It's
a
very
nice day.
refreshing.
Yeah. Can we give you a hug? Your turn? No?
No, not my turn.
No thanks.
Not looking forward to that long ride in wet clothes back to the station.